Okay, so I've got a ton going on here. So this video is going to be the movies that I want to win the Oscars. After completing the Oscar death race, which is watching every Oscar nominated film for this year, these are the movies that I feel should win each category. Now, next Sunday, which is March 10th, I will be posting a video of the movies that I think will win the Oscars. So if you're doing an Oscar ballot and you want to come out on top and be like, hey, I got all these right, that's the video you want to watch. This is just the video of the movies that I appreciated the most that I think should ultimately win the Oscars. So we're going to start at the top. And with that being said, there will be some overlap. Obviously, like there are movies that I think should win that are going to win. But normally I do this in one video. I've got so much to do over the next week that I decided to split it into two videos so you guys can get an early sneak peek at what I think about the Oscars this year. So for Best Picture, I believe that Oppenheimer should win. That's out of a pretty stacked group. I really liked American Fiction. I liked Anatomy of Fall a lot. I enjoyed Barbie. The Holdovers was solid stuff. Killers of Flower Moon ended up being a lot better than I thought it would be. Maestro, while a lot of people thought it was boring, I thought it was an interesting Oscar biopic. Oppenheimer is obviously my choice. Past Lives I loved, but I don't think that it's going to overtake Oppenheimer. And when I look at the entire picture, I think Oppenheimer just has that thing. Like, I think in my video that I do next Sunday, Oppenheimer is going to be the theme. But in this case, I give it to Oppenheimer. So Poor Things was really fun. I ended up enjoying that a lot. And The Zone of Interest was... I didn't like it at all. I don't understand why it's getting the love that it's getting. Anyways, so next up is Best Director. And the popular way to handle Best Director is to give it to the Best Picture winner. I didn't want to do that, so I'm giving it to Justin Treat for Anatomy of Fall because I really did enjoy Anatomy of Fall, and I don't think it's going to end up getting any love at the Oscars, which is unfortunate, but I thought it was an interesting, well-done movie that really surprised me. Again, Jonathan Glazer did Zone of Interest, which there's nothing about that movie that maybe I've seen too many movies about that topic. I don't know. Yorgos Lanthimos with Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Obviously, a lot of people will pick him because they pick Oppenheimer. Scorsese for Killers of Flower Moon, which out of just spite, I'm not picking Scorsese to win. For Best Actress, I'm picking Lily Gladstone for Killers of Flower Moon because I genuinely think that she deserves the Oscar. She gave the best performance. I think it's going to be a tight race, and it could come down to two people, basically. I don't know. We'll see next week. That is in a category that has Annette Bening, Sandra Hüller, Carey Mulligan, and Emma Stone. So it's very, very stacked, but I do think it's going to come down to two people. Best Actor, we have, I would want to give it to Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, Cillian Murphy, Paul Giamatti, Coleman Domingo, and Bradley Cooper are the other potential nominees. For Best Supporting Actress, I would give it to Davine Joy Randolph. Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, American Vieira, and Jodie Foster are all also nominated. For Best Supporting Actor, I would give it to Robert Downey Jr. I think he proved a lot of people wrong with his role in Oppenheimer. I really do. Like, a lot of people kind of gave him the one-trick pony thing with the MCU and Iron Man. And I think he was ready, along with Christopher Nolan, to prove people wrong. I don't think he gave a flawless performance, but I definitely think he gave one of the best of the year. Sterling K. Brown, I enjoyed his performance, but I don't think that was Oscar-worthy. Robert De Niro, also, I just don't think it was Oscar-worthy. Gosling, he was intentionally the way he was, which gives credit to him, but I can't. I can't. Same thing with Mark Ruffalo, like for Poor Things. If you've seen that movie, I can't award that. Adapted screenplay, I have it going to Poor Things because I really did like Poor Things, and my system's broken here because I just think that it should get some more love than what I ultimately think it's going to end up getting. The other films were American Fiction, Barbie, which is debatable whether or not that's an adapted screenplay versus an original screenplay. Oppenheimer, of course, and The Zone of Interest. Again, that movie just got way too much love. For original screenplays, I'm giving it to Past Lives because, like I said, I really like that movie, and I like to give movies that I like love in this while trying to keep everything balanced. And that's why I said don't use my picks for your Oscar ballot because you will not win. You will be walking away, next Sunday being like, what the hell did this guy just tell me to do? These are picks that I want to win, picks that I think the films deserve to win. So I'm giving them to Past Lives. May, December, I was not impressed with. It just was, that movie just bored the hell out of me. And it's unfortunate because it had a really great cast. Maestro, it's okay. I didn't think the screenplay was that amazing, though. The Holdovers was really solid. And obviously Anatomy of the Fall, I really enjoyed that as well. For cinematography, I'm giving it to Oppenheimer. We have El Conde, which was a shock to me that got nominated. I ended up watching it for Netflix when it first came out, like as a screener, and the other films that the director's done, I didn't know about them when watching El Conde, so... also up was Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro again, and Poor Things. I think Oppenheimer, even though there are flaws in its cinematography, I think it just offers the largest depth of cinematography, I guess. For costume design, I had a hard time with this, so I'm giving it to Poor Things. But I really think Barbie and Napoleon both were deserving of this nomination and ultimately could win. We've got Killers of Flower Moon, which is just period piece accurate stuff. And then Oppenheimer, which is also period accurate, but I think Oppenheimer is kind of boring, honestly, in terms of costume design. For film editing, I've always had a hard time with film editing. I do like a lot of... So I'm giving it to Anatomy of a Fall because I liked the way they handled the perspectives and cutting back and forth from the incident in the film. The Holdovers, I don't understand why The Holdovers was nominated for film editing. Killers of Flower Moon, same thing. Oppenheimer, I do see. And Poor Things, I can kind of see, but I've always had a rough time with film editing, and that might just be me, so I apologize if you hear the noise in the background. I've got my TV on, and I don't want to stop the video to pause it at this point. For makeup and hair design, without a doubt, I'm giving it to Maestro. Bradley Cooper, I think, looked brilliant in that movie. Golda, which I just watched to finish my Oscar death race, was good, but Oppenheimer, I don't know. I mean, I know they aged some of the characters a little bit, but it didn't seem like anything groundbreaking. Poor Things, again, I don't really see a whole lot about it that was like groundbreaking. Maybe that's why it was so good. I don't know. And Society of the Snow, I was impressed, but I don't think that was real makeup and hair design. I think that was more of an effects, not necessarily visual effects, but practical effects. So maybe that counts. Production design, I think this could go two ways as well. I'm giving it to Barbie. I think the Barbie Dreamland in general, with so much of it being practical effects, there were CGI in it as well, but I think they really translated it well to life size, to a livable scale for these characters. Barbie was my pick. Killers of the Flower Moon was also nominated. Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. For best score, I think this is just universally, it's going to be what it is, and I think it goes to Oppenheimer, and I think it's deserving to go to Oppenheimer. American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things were also nominated. For best song, these are all going to be performed at the Oscars from which is kind of the standard that they've been going off for the past couple of years. But I would give it to What Was I Made For Barbie by Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell. Wahaze, I probably butchered that, A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon, song and lyrics by Scott George. It Never Went Away from American Symphony, music and lyrics by John Baptiste. That was really impressive. I watched American Symphony and really enjoyed that, but I'm just Ken. I don't want to win. I don't even watch it being performed, and that sounds so snobbish of me, and I apologize, but I just don't think I appreciated the Ken enough aspect of that movie the way so many people did. And last but not least is The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot, which was probably the surprise movie of the year for me, because I thought it was a documentary, and it's kind of a biopic, but not really. So sound editing, there used to be the two sound categories, and there was almost never a surprise. Whatever won one would almost always win the other. In this case, I feel like along with sound design, score kind of go hand in hand, and I'm going to give it to Oppenheimer. The creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Zone of Interest were also nominated for that. I had a hard time here because for visual effects, I'm giving it to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, because although Cruise does perform a lot of his own stunts, there was so much visual work done, and the Academy, based on my experience, does like to give their award to real world effects, meaning like Guardians of the Galaxy is also nominated, and they just don't like to give fake world effects, if that makes sense. The creator, Godzilla Minus One, and Napoleon were also nominated. For animated feature, and this is probably going to shock some people, but I would give it to Nimona. I was really shocked by that. I also really like Robot Dreams, but Nimona was probably my biggest shock of the year in terms of animation. This is a tough category because I really enjoyed the visuals of The Boy and the Heron, probably more than the story itself. Elemental was gorgeous. Like I said, Robot Dreams I liked, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If it had been a self-contained story, I probably would have liked it even more, but I don't feel like I can fully judge that movie until I see the rest of it. Documentary feature, I don't think there's any shock for this, and I didn't know what Maripool was before watching the film, so I wasn't prepared mentally for what it was. But I think without question, 20 Days in Maripool will win, should win. I think that's, if I were a betting man and the odds were good odds that would mean I'd win something, I would probably put a substantial amount of money on this winning. I think with the state of the world, and I just can't see anything else winning. I really, really liked Bobby Wine, The People's President, and I'm really upset that that didn't get nominated for Best Original Song, because there were several songs from it that I think were better than some of the songs that did get nominated. The Eternal Memory, Four Daughters I really did enjoy as well. To Kill a Tiger was a tough one, like that hurt, but I think 20 Days in Maripool is just going to win. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. So it'll be interesting to look back a week from now and see if I was wrong. For international language, Io Capitano. My pick was The Teacher's Lounge, and I'm probably biased on it because I got to screen for Cannes last year, so there may be some, biased unintentionally there, but Perfect Days was really good. Society of the Snow, I felt like I'd seen that movie so many times before, so that just wasn't something special to me. The Teacher's Lounge was my pick, and again, The Zone of Interest, I was uninterested in that zone. For animated shorts, I picked 95 Senses. That was in competition against Letter to a Pig, Our Uniform, Pachyderm, and War's Over. This was a rough year for animation. Like, I think in the Oscar shorts, they always try to spread out the animation to cover the artsy stuff, the fun stuff. There were a lot of fun ones, or a lot of visually appealing ones, but in terms of story, I think 95 Cents is the one that I feel like should win. For documentary short, I would put that right up there with the documentary in terms of how confident I am of which one's going to win, but I picked the ABCs of book banning just because I think it is so important. Although I don't think the documentary was perfect, I think that I wish that they would have gone deeper into certain things, but it is what it is. The Barber of Little Rock was really powerful. Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop was really good. Nine and Waipo was interesting as well. And last but certainly not least, for live action short, I believe it should go to The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I think that Wes Anderson did what Wes Anderson does best and just offered a brilliant experience. The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, and Red, White, and Blue were also up for that award. So that is my 23 picks for this year's 2024 Academy Awards, and I'm curious what you guys think. If you've seen any of these, all of these, if you've completed the death race, if you haven't completed the death race, if you've just heard about these, if you have no thoughts at all, either way, just let me know what you guys think should win, what you think will win, either way. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you watching these, commenting on them, just everything. And if you can do the like, follow, share, that whole thing, the more of that happens, the more that I get to do these. Like I said, I'm doing this one. Next Sunday, I'll be doing my official picks that I think will win. And yeah, so busy week, but thank you guys as always, and I'll see you later.